We all made it. Welcome, everybody, to Tarot the Stash Way. And I am joined by some amazing people. We have medium Betsy Palmer. We have Jane the Seeker. And we have Purple Elephant Deb H here. Jeffrey is in the background. Every time I mention somebody's name, he goes, yay, woo. And I'm your host, Tarot Stash. So, everyone, thank you. Please remember to like and subscribe because, it's free. Show the love. And Jamie's not here, so I can do this. Like and subscribe. It's free.
Look at Pamela. Pamela Batchelor said, seriously, this is a festival.
I love it. P is life. No, Jeffrey will never show his face on my show. However, sometimes, I will invite him to share his voice because, he's part of the backstage wonder that is known as Tarot Stash. So, but anyhow, so there you go. Whether he likes it or not, he says. And you just have to speak.
I've seen his shadow.
What was that, Jane?
And I've seen his shadow.
Yes, Jane has seen his shadow. Maybe we can arrange that sometime. Oh, and here you go. Like and subscribe, hit the thumbs up and the bell so you'll never miss when I go live, and maybe Jeffrey's voice will be there. I'm so shamelessly like and subscribe. For entertainment purposes only, do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really, Queen. You know how this works. So, and I'm hoping this will all be a funner time. And, I just made Jane choke. Sorry, Jane. So, now, those of you who are watching, I want to say thank you because this came up during the last live. This was a conversation you suggested. I think it was you and me, Deb, right?
Yes.
And talking about ethics, and people were like, well, how do you prepare for reading? I'm like, I'm writing it down. So,
and here we are.
here we are. So, I want to give everybody a chance to say hello to people. So, Betsy, say hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry. I was watching the chat scrolling. There's just so many people popping in. Thank you all for coming. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm so stoked.
Yes. And Deb?
Hello, everyone. It's lovely to have you with us. It's wonderful to see all of you beloved, beautiful chat beings. And don't be afraid to speak up. If you have something to add to the conversation, put it in there and one of us will be able to see it, hopefully.
Yes. And Jane, say hi.
Hi, everyone. I've been hiding. I'm on vacation. It's so lovely to see you all. Thank you for being here. And I'm excited to hear what everyone has to say.
Thank you. Me too.
The adding.
Yeah. And before I say hi to everybody, Betsy was bringing something up, and we were all agreeing backstage that this is very much a tribe and sharing wisdom and knowledge, and without expectation. Do you want to say any more about that, Betsy? Because you were saying it much more eloquently than me.
That's the way it goes when you're a medium. Stuff passes through you and you forget what you said. No, it was about collaborating without any competition or suspicion, without feeling the need to hide aspects of what you're doing, that we can all be here present, sharing authentically, and everything grows from it. Everything grows.
Yes. Well said. Yeah, Jeffrey's back. He's saying it's not a competition, it's sharing. It's like, okay. So let's say hi to some people.
Sharing is caring.
Yes.
Sharing is caring. Thomas is here. Hello, Thomas. Thomas will be on my channel in a couple of weeks. We're doing a Tarot the Stash Way. We're talking about reversals. So, and Aspasia Rising, Beth is here. And now I'm getting caught up. And here you go. Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy is here. Richie Longman Tarot is here, who I will be a guest on his channel on Friday. We're talking about kings, because there's a coronation going on.
Yes.
So yeah, Jeffrey's like something like that. Michelle Marie is here. I will be on Michelle Marie's channel and Twillo Lifestyle doing readings tomorrow, Wednesday the 3rd. At 7 p.m. Eastern. Red Wing is here. Hello, Red Wing. Callie Healer is here. Hello. Pia's Life. Richie's on his phone, so is not able to tag. Fox with a book. Fox with a book. I want to know what book you're currently reading. It really is, Beth, isn't it? It really is. Chris from Elemental Cartomancy is here. Hello. Maruda is here. Hello. And yeah, I love it. Seriously, this is a festival. Hi, everyone. Pamela. And okay, just scrolling down because so many wonderful people. Okay, everybody's saying hi to everybody. Jules Niner is here. Hello, Jules Niner. Good to see you. And I'm in the periodontist waiting area while Jonathan has work done. Good healing vibes are appreciated. Oh, on it. So, yeah. Oh, and Pia's Life said, I get it. It's okay, Jeffrey. So, and you don't have to show your face. Cooking Taco Tuesdays. And then I've seen his foot in a photo, I may add. Oh, that's right. Richie has seen your foot in a photo. Yes. For our wedding picture, I did send him a picture of our photos. So, of our shoes we were wearing because they were cool. Jamie, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path, and everybody sip. Jamie's birthday was yesterday, so
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jamie.
Happy birthday, Jamie.
I'm drinking coffee. So, I want it noted. I would like a personalized notification if Jeffrey is ever going to go live, even if it's his lovely voice. Duly noted. I will put my tiny hands on it to remember that. So,
What was that, an echo, or did I hear a little giggle in the background, a little chortle of sorts?
you heard the chortle. You heard the well. He did. You did.
It was
do it live once.
I do remember something. Yes.
Yep.
But the chortle was very nice.
Yes. People wonder why I married him. So I also wonder why he married me, but that's beside the point. Hershey, that's a different conversation. Hershey, the shadow reader, is here. Hello. Vanessa S. Hello. And okay. Oh, look. Andrea is here. Andrea, good to see you. All right. Okay. Lots of lovely people. Yeah, this is, I have the best chatters. I mean, and they're shareable. So,
Yes.
and, Jedi Survivor at the moment. So Chris is multitasking. That's impressive. Samantha's here. Hello. And okay, just going to finish up. Going to quickly scroll because leave your ego at the door. Yeah, very much so. This is just fun. Okay. If I have missed anyone, my apologies. Love the purple and turquoise, reminds me of my Firefox page. Ooh, there you go. Love that. Ooh, Heather is here. Hello. Liminal Lark is here.
Wow.
Linda Kelzer is here. Everybody is just coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And okay. Yes, I've been on other lives where no one acknowledged anyone else. So sad. That's why I love it here. It is a really, really good group.
Yes.
Okay, we have an answer from Fox with a book. I'm reading Animal Speaks.
Speaks, I'm guessing.
Maybe. That's cool. It's a Ted Andrews, Jeffrey says. He
Good
thinks.
book. That's a really good book.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. We got the, sip, sip. And okay. Wait a minute. And oh, yeah. Hi, Rhonda.
Rhonda Cox.
Yeah. There you go. It's Mary Thornberry said it's a good book. So this group always has high vibration energy and often lots of humor. Yes. There you go.
I wanted to add Bims is here and Calla Lizzie is here.
Okay. Hi. Hi. And Twisted Sushi.
And Twisted Sushi.
I have missed people, so there's Calla Lizzie. Oh, Rhonda turned 53 yesterday. Saw that. Okay. Wow.
Just a young
Okay. And now Bims. Thank you, Deb. So Deb and I are going to be live on my channel on Thursday, May 4th with I'm dragging Angela Cardamancy Mesquite on with us.
Yes. And she has no filter, so that should be fun.
Well, that's
You've been forewarned. I mean, there you go. There you go. Ren is here. Hello, Ren.
and Mary Thornberry. Did anybody see her?
Mary Thornberry. Hello, Mary. Okay, so today we're talking, it's Tarot the Stashway, and we're talking about how we prepare for a reading. And as I mentioned, this came about because somebody in the last one we hang on, I'm making Jeffrey turn down his volume that way. Do you see that? That's the turn down your volume gesture.
That's the international gesture for turn down your volume.
It is now. And somebody needs to remix it, put some music with it. And we need to do that with tiny hands. Tiny hands to be able to do that. Anyhow, so we're talking about how to prepare for readings. And I do have some questions. And I first thought it important to start with what type of readings do each of us do? Because it's one of those things that I don't think it really matters what type of readings that we do. It's just the prep. I mean, so who would like to go first? I'll go first.
No, you go.
I'll go first. I do tarot readings, but I also do, I would say they're channeled messages, learning to be a medium. And the tarot for me is it's a key that helps unlock and establish that connection for me. One might say I access different levels of records, perhaps including Akashic records. And I have the ability to, I'm honored a lot of times by hearing and sometimes seeing guides, people's guides. So, and dead people. So, okay.
Cool.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go. If nobody's jumping, I'm a Leo. I'll go. So mediumship is my number one favorite. And that is spirit guides and ancestors and family members, all included. Past life work, I really like doing where past lives are kind of coming into current lives. Intuitive development, also something I really love. I will do current situations. I'm not much of a tarot reader, but I can do it. And also I like to just channel in front of groups. So, yep. Mixed bag.
Okay. Hi, Cassie S. Jane, would you like to go?
Sure. I am okay, so what kind of readings do I do? I'm sort of an intuitive psychic medium. Most readings that I do are tarot readings. I do mediumship as well. I like to, I do like to go into ancestor energy. I do a lot of going back and looking at the ancestors. I think there's and calling in, um, I guess even galactic or universal energy, whatever you want to call it. And so it's sort of like connecting the two, the magician. Which way do I go? I don't know. But, bringing it all together is what I like to do. And that's the kind of readings that I do. Does that
Beautiful.
make sense?
Thank you. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Deb.
So I am, I primarily do tarot and oracle readings. I use that, much like Gerald said he does, as a key to open up my mediumship. I can do mediumship without cards, but it's quicker if I use the cards, and I get the message comes a little bit clearer. I am still learning what else I can do. Sometimes I can access pets. Sometimes I can do color readings and energy readings. So I am still learning what I can do. But if someone contacts me wanting a reading, generally it's a tarot reading or a mediumship reading.
Nice. Thank you.
Can I add one thing?
Yes, you can add 2 things if you want, but not 3.
When I do mediumship,
semicolon. Do a semicolon.
Okay. I do evidential mediumship. So for the most part, I'm not like really super fast. I like to take my time and do evidential, and whoever really needs to come through will come through. I don't do a lot of, I want Uncle Paul, I want to talk to Uncle Paul, and I can go find Uncle Paul. It's more like who finds me, who wants to talk today. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I did, Bims, I did mark your question because Bims asked a great question. And this is Jeffrey. And he was saying, I was working on an original song for Terror the Stashway Countdown.
Ooh.
Nice.
I didn't know that was going to be happening, but I'm happy about that. So, yeah, he's like, and you need something new. And so he says hi. So, and I agree, Callie Healer. They are all beautiful gifts, as are the gifts that you have, whether or not you do anything on YouTube or not. I am a firm believer, and anybody who disagrees with me, come for me, because you're going to lose. I'm a firm believer if you have these gifts and you use them and appreciate them, they get stronger and they help everyone, whether or not they know. So there you go. So, okay. All right. I'm going to take a sip because I'm like, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you prepare for giving readings? Who would like to start with that? Here you go. Yes, so true. Mediumship is a 2-way street. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. If nobody's going, I'll go.
Go for it.
I don't mind. How do I prepare? Okay. The first thing I do is straighten up my space. That's the first thing I do. And I do like to light a candle and smudge, sometimes only with sage, but probably Palo Santo sage spray mixed or both.
Mm-hmm.
Then I do like to take a moment to ground and center. I just kind of gaze out over the ocean a bit. Then I will sit down at my little table here and I will get still inside, ground, always ground, and center. will get still inside and ask my guides if there is any information they would like to share with me about the upcoming work, and I will write that down. On my table, I have quite the collection of crystals and tools. I was going to list them. I'll spare you. But it's everything from rocks and shells, a rattle. I have a wand, dragons, panthers, lots of cats, Kleenex, and a salt lamp. Yeah, so that's me. That's what I do.
That's great. And you vary slightly depending upon what you're feeling about for the environment and the readings. Is that sort of what you mean?
I do all the basic steps. The only thing that varies is when I ask if there's any information that they would like me to know going in. Sometimes it will be really detailed. Sometimes they'll say, no, you don't need to know anything going into this one. So that's the biggest variation on that one.
Yeah. Jeffrey's excited because there's gifts involved. So who would like to share next?
I can go next.
Go for it.
Now, my preparation has evolved over time. What I do now is my basic thing that I do is I smudge. I generally start with sage, and then I will switch to something to clear. I use the sage to clear out energy, and then I use a different form of incense depending on what I'm doing. That will where I call in. And it depends on what I'm doing. If I feel that we need more protection, I will make sure to call in beings that are protectors. Archangel Michael, my own personal guardians. I will call them all in and make sure that the space is safe and sacred. And then I may call in help for communication, help for healing, help for whatever is the task at hand is. And then I call in my personal team, my personal guide team, my own angels, guardians, guides, deities, ancestors. I call them all forward so that they're with me as I sit down to do whatever reading I'm going to do. I make sure that I have my whatever tools I'm going to use, my cards, my crystals. I have something to drink always. I may have tissues because sometimes I don't get chills like a lot of readers do. I get tears. So that's never pretty. So I will have tissues for that. And anything that I think I may need, I may get a special coffee cup and have, a hamsa on it for protection. Or I may have a particular elephant because I have elephants. You may not have known that. And so whatever I am doing, I personalize it for that, whatever that is going to be that day. And then when I sit down and I ground and center, then I have all of my tools at hand, and I then am ready for whatever is coming up. So I will have some idea of what is going to transpire. And then from that point, I'm not in charge anymore. Spirit takes over at that point. And so I may not remember what I told you. And if you want to know, you might want to write it down.
Yeah. By the way, Colleen, the cool crone, is here. Hello, Colleen. Good to see you. And thank you, Heather, for putting people's links in. I do appreciate that. Links are below, so that's very appreciated. I'm marking a few people, what people are saying. Jane, I'm going to put you on hold for a second because there's. I just want to, just to catch up on chat because Beth said I often ground by holding jaspers. And gee, Betsy, didn't you and I do something about grounding recently?
Maybe, yes.
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 So there you go. And Maruda said red garnet is my favorite grounder. So, and Chris, Elemental Cartomancy, said my main things are make sure my desk is tidy because I have a messy husband, wash my hands because it's my way of looking after and respecting my cards, and then I start shuffling. Those are powerful. Those are powerful. And up, Tony is here. Hello, Tony. And yeah, love the cool crown. Jane, how do you prepare for giving readings?
Well, Gerald and everyone, it depends on what I'm going to be doing. If I'm going to be doing a regular live in the morning and I know I'm going to be doing a lot of mini readings or doing tarot readings, so it's all different for all the different things, right?
Yes.
But I will start out by listening, by chanting or listening to like Om Mani Padme Hum or something like that. I try to get into that just to really boost my energy, connect me, know that I am one with the universe, and so I connect to I ground to the universe, and then of course I do my grounding once I'm up and about, and we could talk about what I do when I ground. I mean, because people are like, well, how do you ground? But I envision the tree roots, and I have a gold anchor in the center of the earth that I get to connect. I wrap around, and then I suck up wisdom and knowledge and from the ancestors and everything. So grounding, and I'm like the same with it with everybody else. Like I make sure that my space is tidy. I have my spread cloth down. I make sure my hands are washed. I make sure that my feet and my ankles are not crossed, and my feet are flat on the ground. Nothing's crossed. I've got a candle lit. I have a focal point that I use. And right now, since I'm traveling, I only have my one focal point with me, which is my key. So this is a very important part of my spiritual practice, and is the key, because it's the key to everything. And then I have my crystals. I light a candle. I use oils instead of burning things right now because of my cats. Otherwise, I would like to burn, but cats. And
you would like to burn incense, not burning cats.
Right. Sorry. I'm not good. I'm a weary, not a good traveler. Yeah, I mean, my cats, I noticed, was it funner? What did you put up there?
I said funner. I'm being funner.
No,
I'm just being annoying.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah. Yes, a key.
Yes, a key, because, and I would like to say that when I was connecting to my super consciousness the other day, and I do this thing where I walk through a forest, blah, blah, blah. I was walking through the forest headed to my utopia place that I go to, but I like to spend some time in the forest. And I turned to the left this is all in my mind's eye. I don't have like a little forest. And there was a portal, there was a doorway. But I was like, no, I'm going to my utopia. I'm going to, which is a hot spring in my mind. And so I didn't go through the doorway. I didn't go through the portal. And I thought, well, next time a portal comes up, I'm going through it. And I haven't seen one since.
Oh.
So I would just like to mention, if you're ever doing something and you see a doorway, just go through it, because you can come back. I was like, I don't have time for you, doorway. I must go this way.
I understand.
And I regretted it ever since.
Aww.
So, yeah, it's okay. So I use spray sage spray. I have my cards. I make sure everything, I use bells to clear energy. Thank you. Thank you,
Isn't that
Mary.
beautiful?
Yeah. And then I call in everybody as well, that type of, all of that, put the protection hat, put the protection on and call in the, everybody.
Okay, Alice, the idea of, just falling down. So, um, so I prepare for readings because oftentimes if I'm reading in person with people, I will go outside and actually walk on dirt, walk on soil and get myself grounded. And then when I come into the space, I'm very particular about it. Energetically, sometimes I will actually need to sweep, banish, purify, and then charge, because sometimes people's their intentions. I've read at a friend's house multiple times, and they've got a great space. It's just one of those things for me. I need to connect to the space. So sometimes I connect to the space by I'm sweeping, I'm banishing, I'm purifying and charging the space and me, so that we work together and that anybody that shares that space feels safe, heard, and protected. Very, very important things. So, and okay, so I also I will oftentimes, for me, I will wash my hands. I will sometimes use a cloth, but I don't always. I will usually burn incense. I prefer frankincense because it's one of great protection for me. If I'm reading with someone, I will ask them if it's okay if for incense, because some people are sensitive to that. And then I will sometimes, when I'm called to it, I will actually ask, I have frankincense and I have such and such. Do you have a preference? Because for me, I am inviting someone into my home when I'm reading. I want people to feel comfortable. And so, um, like many of you, I'm usually having water around me, and then some sort of a beverage, usually non-alcoholic, because I don't need that. And actually, sometimes I prefer that the people that I read for have not been consuming, because I want them to be clear as well. And okay, see, this is the fun of okay, so I do breathing, and then I will ask people, do they want music? Would that help them feel comfortable? And then I'll give them some options. I don't say, well, what do you want to listen to? Because it could be like me and Deb, who are sending, hardcore, really cool music to each other that'll build energy, but sometimes it's a lot. So, but yeah. And then the other thing that I do is, when I'm reading, if I'm taking cards somewhere, I have this is my Robin Wood tarot deck, and then in this bag that I made, yes, hashtag I made it. I have this, which is a selenite. It's a selenite wand per se. It also is a great tool. It can be a wand. It's also a great healing tool. And then I also carry I have another selenite piece. And then I also have a pendulum, and I also have bay leaves in there. So, um, and Candy Soul and Soil is here. Hi, Candy.
Oh, hi.
So, yeah, it's a great wand. It was a wand that when I saw it, I kept going back to it, kept going back to it, kept going back to it. And I'm like, you need to come. Yes, I heard you. I heard you the first time. I decided to ignore it, but there you go. Okay. So, and so especially, and like reading online is different. And so I do many of those things. I sort of spread my circle wider. I don't sort of. I spread my circle wider, and it's that connection. So, okay, that was a lot of information I just shared. So, I'm going to get caught up on chat. If anybody has anything they want to add to that, since you went first, Betsy, is there anything you want to add?
You did mention music, and I did forget to include that. But yeah, I usually have a soft background music going, something really chill, very chill, some kind of low hop, something usually from YouTube. Yeah.
Maruda shared, I have a lapis pyramid and points combo piece I like to have on my table when I read. And Kathy Tortoiseshell Moon said, I'm not Wiccan anymore, but if I'm using tarot to commune with my deities, I often cast a circle. Absolutely. Absolutely. Callie Healer said, I meditate before with selenite, incense and clarity sage in my diffuser, Palo Santo myself and my space. Which one do you have, Jane?
This is Carrie Sage, and yeah, so
okay.
And I also forgot to add that I put on jewelry. Jewelry is an important part of what my spiritual process too. I put on like certain rings that I don't wear all the time, right? I mean, we all do that, but we might like, yeah. So we forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just hidden, but people may not know that. And then I also have to do my I am statements.
Yes.
And like Beth said, I make sure to remove my ego, because people don't want my opinion or want what I'm talking about. They want that information. So I make sure to remove my ego. But I have a little prayer that I do. So
yeah. Bells. So okay, getting caught up. Okay, Patricia Tyree. Okay, getting caught up. Okay.
And I took my bells to work, and we have sage Palo Santo spray, crystals, and bells at work, and a deck.
Yeah. Yeah, and the I am statements are really good. So, and Beth wears antique Russian selenite ring. Ah, look who's here. Hello, kindness and light. Good to see you. And Bim said, I was gifted the eye bracelet as for protection. I know very little about, is there anything I should not do? I've been wearing every day, including in the shower.
I never take mine off. I wear my Hamza and my, what's that tree called? The tree of life all the time. They're always there. So.
Yeah. Bims, I would say if it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. But everything you're saying sounds like it works. It lines up with you. So.
I also wanted to add too, I don't generally wear jewelry, but I will have crystals on my person somewhere. So you may not see them, but they'll be there.
In the vault.
Yes.
I hear them as I'm walking away. I walk away and I'm going jingle, 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 jingle. And my husband knows I'm coming. And I'm like, I forgot to. That's where mine go.
Well, and yeah, I'm not going to ask you where you put them, Deb. I mean, that would make the show funner, but that's okay. I mean,
they're in my bra.
There you go.
They're in the vault.
They're in the vault. I love that.
That's the vault. There you go.
You're welcome, Bims. And I think it's one of those things. Notice how there's similarities between what all of us are doing, including those of you in chat, and there's variations. Yes. And one of the great things about learning tarot and working with tarot is figuring out what feels right to you and then doing it regularly. Do it before every reading, because what happens is when it's like, okay, because part of what I do is when I do readings, I shuffle a particular way in my deck. I will riffle shuffle 3 times. I will overhand shuffle 3 times. And then I will actually cut like this three times. And that for me is my body's response to, oh, we're doing this. And it's just like any ritual. When you do it over and over, you bring forth all of the energy and the power before. And so that's an important thing that I do. I shuffle a particular way. And yes, if I get interrupted or cards fall out, I stop for a second, check in with the cards. And sometimes I put them back in. Sometimes those are the cards I read with, because I'm like going, okay, I'm done. But there's the importance of that. Chris asked a question, and I wanted to see this. When you guys say remove your ego, how do you do that? I'll be honest and say I struggle to remove it from the get-go. I just try to be conscious of it as the reading progresses. Jane,
I ask for I see Betsy's hand going up there, but I found a prayer and I ask for my ego to be removed. That I don't have my prayers with me. It's on my community tab. Somebody wanted to know my prayers. But it's something like spirit. I don't know. I don't remember because I'm not home, but I ask for my ego to be removed. And then once I'm channeling, my ego's out the door anyway, really.
Okay. Betsy, what were you going to add?
That I step into readings out of gratefulness and giving back to the guides that are so generous to come work with me. This is my way of giving back to them by stepping aside so this vehicle can share their message. So I feel as if I'm stepping into a role of service for hire, because the stuff that comes out of me is much wiser than I could come up with. So for me, it's easy to step my purpose aside and just allow myself to be and hold that space for them to do their work.
Now I do something very similar to what Betsy does. I step aside and let whatever the message is come forward, and ask that I not be interpreting the message. I'm just delivering the message. It's when we start to interpret the message that our ego might jump up and say, oh, it must mean this, when in fact, it's not our message. So we need to let the person that we're reading for interpret whatever the message is. And I don't have a specific thing I do. I think it's sort of like a light switch with me. When I get ready to read, that part of me is not allowed to come forward.
Mm. Well, and I think for one of the things for me is if how do I say this? If it feels disconnected for me, then I know it's my ego. I know it's coming from me and not from the cards or the wisdom seekers that are sharing. And that's been an experience. It's learning that. And sometimes because sometimes in a reading, I will go, oh, I have something to say. And I will say, this is from Gerald, not the cards. This is from me. So I try to be very clear when this is not my message. And I am similar to Deb in the way of is if I've done a reading for you, you better write notes, because that's something else I will do is I'll have pieces of paper and writing utensils if I'm there. Here you go. You want to write this down because I'm not going to remember it.
Mhm.
So, and so that's a thing. And so, okay. Remove
I
the
also offer to let people record on their phone. That never bothers me.
Nice. Jonathan is here. Hi, Jonathan. And Chris, did we answer your question? Okay, thank you. Yeah. And okay, and so we had another question, which is a really helpful question. Is Pia's Life asked, how many years each of us have been reading tarot or doing our stuff? I am probably close to about 30 years, 28, 29 years. What about you, Jane? How long have you been reading?
40, 40 years. I mean, actually using cards and everything and doing that 40 years.
Okay. Betsy?
Well, I've always been me, but I've only been doing public stuff for going on 10 years.
Okay. Deb?
And I started over 50 years ago, but I took a 34-year hiatus when I pretended that I didn't have any gifts. So,
How'd that work for you?
not well.
They came back a knocking, and were they louder and clearer?
Much louder, much clearer, and much more insistent. You must do this. We are going to do this. Not me. We are going to do this.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that is very interesting. Is sometimes what I do is when I sit down with somebody and I've never done a reading for them, I will ask them if they've ever had a tarot reading or if they've ever been to a psychic or a medium.
Mhm.
Because to be honest with you, I want to level their expectations. And I want to go, well, you're not going to get that with me. It's part of like what we were talking about with ethics, Deb. It's like, no, that's not something that I do. I'm not going to give you the winning lottery numbers.
No.
And I know, Betsy, one of the things that you do when you have a client who books a reading with you, you send them to your FAQs so that they understand what's there. So,
And I remind them as we're beginning to ask their questions early on, because if they just sit back and go, just whatever the universe has to say, then it's just their guides assigning them homework for the next 60 minutes. And their real truth isn't going to be addressed. And if they're asking a half of a question, I ask people to be honest. If they're asking a half of a question, their guides know the other half. I know that they're holding back. So, yeah.
Okay. Just getting caught up in the best chatters on the web. It's that part that lets you speak the messages regardless of how weird it sounds over trying to make sense of the message coming out. Yeah, I mean, and Betsy, you talk about squirrel nutkins.
They'll make me say stuff that you can't believe it, but you can't filter it because it may sound weird to you, but it may be right on for whoever.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I am still learning how to trust what I'm hearing in the cards. And I've gotten better through experience of not saying, well, I don't know why I'm saying this. And now I just say it and then I stop. It's like, there's the message. And as a reader, I've learned part of preparation is I need to slow down, because you've all watched me. I can talk a million miles a second. And, here, and I like a prop. And sometimes I get up on a soapbox, and a soapbox is not something that is necessary for me in the readings. that's not my job. So, okay. Okay. Kind. Yes, but also the truth. So much respect for you and your gifts. So, oh, you were here, Pamela. Can't help you with that. So, and okay, and Pia said something. Okay, I'm loving. I've got so many things marked. And Jane, just you make her mornings. So there you go.
You make mine.
Okay. And yes, I've had some amazing experience and trips by stubbornly finding a door or window. It goes back to that. Jeffrey said, deep focused breathing usually grounds me, visualized breathing. Again, it goes back to that grounding aspect. And okay. Red Wing said, I have a largest Tibetan bell with Dorja. Rather loud. Folk might think there was a fire. Okay. People wear a Michelle Marie uses chalcedony on a silver chain.
Chalcedony.
Thank you. What Betsy said. And people have seen me when I do readings online. I'm usually wearing big chunky jewelry. I like my smoky quartz because it just turns things up. So, and okay, just kidding. Okay, got that. And Sherry H said, if my brother and nephew are not at home, I like to burn sage. If they are home, I take a stick of incense outside and burn it there. Yeah. So remove your ego to me is self-awareness. I try to observe myself to avoid mentally manipulating something for my purpose. Yeah. All right. Here we have a question. Do you cleanse your decks before using them for a reading? If so, what method do you use? Jane, you go first on that one.
Sure. Yes. I will either do bells, sage, or sometimes I will just use a candle. And I like to I don't know what the proper way is. Everybody does their own thing, right? But if I'm going to do a deck, I'm going to put it. I fan it out over whatever. Right now, I've got a candle. I do it like this on both sides. Then I turn the whole deck. I spread it. I turn it around, and I do it again on the other end of the cards. And then I might beat them, but I like to. That's my preferred method.
Okay.
Or bells.
Deb, do you do anything?
I do. I usually use smoke, and I'll do much the same as Jane did. And I have a specific way that I shuffle.
Okay. Betsy, I know you use cards rarely, but when you do you do anything?
I like the good old percussive therapy. I like to hit them 3 times and say the person's name while I'm doing that. And then I also have, for cleaning when I'm finished, what Gerald turned me on to, the selenite slab.
Amazing slab of stuff. One of the things that I will do is when I riffle shuffle, see if I can do this, I will blow on them.
Yeah, I like to do that too.
So I will blow on them. I think it was Jane. I think I saw you knocking on cards for the first time. I was like, I've never seen that before. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to say blow, because I do a lot of blowing on cards when I'm doing readings for people.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to hide it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, and it is one of those things that, for me, I can be really focused, and I only need to do it once. I don't need to do it more than that. So, Heather said, I've had people withhold information because they wanted to test me to see if I was good. Yeah, some people do that, but it's like, yeah, really.
I'm lucky as a medium and a channel. I tell them, hey, the information is coming through me. This is not from me. So if you're closed off to me emotionally, it's like I'm sitting in a dark closet with the door shut.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to come through.
Yeah. And Beth said, sometimes I do say, I'm not sure what this means, but maybe it will mean something to you. I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
So Callie Healer said, I started doing healing 15 years ago, doing readings for 12. I shut it off when I was a child because I was afraid to tell my parents. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you're back. Kiba Lyons is here. Hello, Kiba. So, um, okay, I try to read and explain what I'm doing or what I have done, or on my table if it's on the internet. Oh yeah, I like to tell people what I'm doing because, hashtag, I'm an overachiever and I will do lots of things and I'll tell people what I'm doing. So, and Jeffrey, who had a nice question? Okay, hang on. Do you feel there has been an explosion of people wanting to learn more about this sort of spiritual realms? Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes, simply put. Yeah.
I beg to differ. I don't think it's an explosion of people. I think it's that we're free to talk about it.
Oh, I can give you that. Jane?
And I believe that we are remembering, and a lot of us, and so I think that in our remembering, it goes along with what Betsy says. We're remembering, and we're all talking about it together, too. Because me and my mother don't. I can't tell my mother but it's a remembering to me, like of ancient.
And it's the balance of the pendulum. We hear a lot of stuff in social media on one extreme side. This is the balance. The other side is becoming more vocal.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Calla Lizzie asked the question, do you let the querent touch your cards? Betsy, you're shaking your head?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a little chakra deck. If somebody's really shut down, I'll give them the deck and tell them to shuffle and draw one.
Okay. Jane, what about you?
If it's a public deck, and most of the time I'm reading for a lot of people that I trust and I hang around with, and if it's that kind of it's so random. It depends on the energy that person is giving off at any given time. I could either hand them the deck and say, I want you to shuffle them, or just kind of touch them and put your energy on them. Or I'm like, don't touch my cards. It's okay. No, I don't say that, but I keep
Oh, I
everything.
do sometimes, but sorry.
Well, I'm more about like, I don't know, like it's the same thing with crystals or any of my stuff. It's like, if I say you can touch it, it's because I really trust you. But and I will only use certain decks on the internet. I have my private decks, and decks that I use in personal readings. Does that make sense? I'm so compartmentalized. If I'm reading on lives on the YouTube, I go to certain decks. But if I'm reading for if I have a sitter, I will use a different deck. And then if I'm reading just for myself, I have my own decks.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Deb?
I'm where I go where the energy is. So I have a deck that I will let the querent touch or shuffle or however they feel like they need to put their energy into it. But the majority of my decks, I don't let anyone touch but me.
Yeah. Lisa does. Jeffrey says it depends. Beth said, I don't let people touch my cards unless it was a child or one of my grown children. So, and Callie Healer said, I don't even let my family touch them. I get that. And so Callie says, it's so often that someone in the tarot tube community used to work with tarot, then stopped for years and decades, then picked it up again later. Yeah. And oh well, sure, we're given a gift, use it or don't use it. Just deal with the choices, the consequences of those choices. Pia's Life said, if I could go back, I'd have kept the deck. The window slammed shut after screaming at whatever to get out. Okay. And so I'll answer that question is it depends. I have personal decks that are just for me. I have and I do have versions of those personal decks that are public. They're a public version because I like the voice of that deck, but that deck is mine. And it's like, for instance, I have several copies of the Wild Unknown, and because sometimes it reads great. What'd we say? There you go. Yeah, I don't even let touch Gerald's deck. I don't touch his deck without permission either. Consent is everything. I mean, and that's true. Consent is a huge thing with this. Is because it's like, if it doesn't, my mother would say, go into my purse and get this. I would bring her purse and let her get it. It's safer. Don't go into somebody's bag, their purse, whatever. Boundaries are always a good.
Boundaries are a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And Chris here.
Oh, I just want to step back to Pia's comment about getting a deck and having the wind blow through and her screaming. Imagine that poor spirit that you invited home with the deck and how confused that poor thing was.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And Jamie said, oh my, what to come back into the room on consent. It's all good. Okay. And so if any of you see me, you do a ritual before reading. Yep. And I've actually seen people do that. And I think it's one of those things that if it works for you, great, do it. More power to you. I will, if it's bringing you power, I am going to certainly watch that. I'm going to enjoy it. So
I always make the clients ground and center with me and say my clearing prayer. And I always say the same thing, because we're inviting in non-physical entities. We're going to be sure to invite only the ones in that we wish to communicate with.
Yes, that's very, very important. And Pia's Life, I will simply say, you've started a few months ago, and I always feel like I should know more than I do. Quit that.
Yeah.
Stop that. You know exactly what you're supposed to know now. You're curious and you listen, and I'm going to say, you filter in what you hear through your own self. And it's like, okay, that might work for me, or that doesn't work for me. Therein lies the power. And let's just say it. That's the reason we have Tarot the Stash Way. You're going to do it your way. I'm just giving you some suggestions.
And I'd like to add, also too, I have found in watching just people in my life and my own self, if you all of a sudden get hit with like everything at once, you're going to get knocked off your feet. So it's a slow learning process because it needs to be that way.
Yep.
It's also, that's the way I feel.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Here you go. Pia, you have found your home and your family here. Yep. Kathy said, I'm all for trial and error, trying new ideas and seeing what works best for me, always learning. And I like that, always learning, because that's one of the questions that I had is like, how have your preparations changed over time? And does anybody want to talk about that one? Because this has been great. Betsy, Deb.
I'm volunteering you.
Yeah. Do you want me to embiggen you, Deb? Do you want me to put you bigger?
Not really. So please excuse the lawn people doing stuff outside. I don't know if you can hear it. It's pretty loud to me. But when I first started, I was a kid, so I didn't know preparation. I didn't know about preparation. And then as I've gotten older and learned about things that I may not want to commune with, then I learned to set up protections. I learned how to call in my own guides and have them be my guides and not someone pretending. I learned how to, I learned what rituals worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, it's a learning process. As you go, you will figure out what works for you. What works for me may not work for you. So the way I call in my guides probably wouldn't work for you. My guides have a sense of humor, and so I tend to do it with humor. Just learn who the people that work with you on the other side are, and what are their preferences, and what are your preferences, and come to an agreement with them. And once you figure out who you're addressing and who comes in to help you for different situations, then you will know how to approach them and how to call them.
Yes.
And so over the years, I have learned those things. And if there's something special, it's okay to ask for a new helper.
Mm-hmm.
If you need a new helper for whatever, you can ask for it. You may not agree with their advice, but,
Oh, yeah.
but you can call them. So, yes, my preparation has changed drastically over the years. And the very first thing I do now that I never did before is make my space safe and protected.
Yeah.
And that any entity coming forward to communicate is one that I want to communicate with. I don't have time for low vibrational beings that want to play.
Yeah. Catching up on chat, it's Jonathan said, I sometimes do grounding exercise with someone if they seem like they need it before the reading, because I'm such an empath. I need them to be in the right mindset for the reading. So, and a lot of spirit guides and guardians, please put me on the right path and give us some answers we seek. Yes. And yeah, we all need the helper. And so yep. Okay. And Robin Toadstool Tarot is here. Hello. And okay. Who would like to share how preparation has changed over time? I'll go. Oh, Jane?
Yeah, just because, I mean, obviously it's been just as I learn more, I've grown more as the whole thing that Deb was saying is you trial and error experiencing. But then I have to say I took a class I took a mediumship class, a few of them, but learning how, when I invite the energy in and learning how to feel when the energy comes in. And what we would do is we would sit there and have it come in and then tell it to go away, just our guides. And then you can really feel it coming and going. So that was important for me. But then another thing, and this is just something that's been kind of brand the last like 2 months for me, is I've been working with a hypnotist. And that's when I connect to my super consciousness, and I learned a way to do that really quickly. And so that's been something that I feel like has really upped my game. It's not a game, but I mean, it's really spiritually connected me.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me is I'm a pretty good grounder naturally. And Jeffrey said me too. I actually get annoyed when somebody is sending me on a grounding exercise or something like that. I'm like, I'm already there. Hurry up, hurry up. But what has been helpful for me is just to realize not everyone is like me. And there's a gift and a beauty in slowing the F down, Gerald, because, and so I have learned that my ritual is, my preparation is more powerful now because I've been doing it and I've been adjusting it a little bit. So I guess I would say I have much more power. I am aware of my power now more than when I first started. That makes sense. I hope that doesn't sound egotistical. Oh, I am all that, but I am all that. But now I know it, but I use it to my advantage. So, okay. Betsy, would you like to share anything about how your prep has changed over time?
Sure. Yeah, it's for me, it's all about the grounding thing. I was a really slow to the party on grounding. And so I actually learned that my abilities multiplied, I don't know, tenfold, I don't know how many times by grounding. Intuition lives in the gut. So, but also to make sure that I do walk my clients through the grounding and centering and prayer so they can get grounded and tuned into their internal world a little bit better if they're not already, but also to see, it gives me an opportunity for my guides to go check them out and see what they're bringing with them, who or what is with them. And which kind of goes along with that question somebody said about somebody with really negative energy. Do you do the reading? I don't always align with everybody's energy. I trust my guides through my clearing prayer to keep the situation safe and stable. Mm-hmm. And just because I don't necessarily see somebody as being a bad person coming for me. I try to see them as this is the energy they prefer to spend their time with. And I ask them what why they're here. What do you need to know? If I can provide information through my team for them, if that comes through for them and it resonates, that's great. I've had readings where those people did not like the way the session was going, and so I would just gift it to them and tell them, I'm glad you've got your notes or you've got your recording to come back to sometime. Maybe this will resonate.
Yeah. I want to finish up with a couple of questions in the chat, which hashtag best chatters. One of the things that Robin said is I hope nobody feels like they don't feel like they're a medium. They can't read the cards. You don't need the cards to read, to be a medium. They're just tools.
Yes.
They're just tools. So.
And you don't have to be a medium to read the cards.
Absolutely. And you can be a really good reader and not be a medium.
Absolutely.
So, and as an empath, I have to take precautions to protect my energy before reading for others. I like to visualize a sort of bubble shield. That's a great tool. And I think tarot taps into our intuition, but I'm no medium. And Jeffrey said, very good, Tortoiseshell Moon. I put that bubble around my space if and when I ever read in public. Yeah. Okay, so Mary Thornberry and Betsy, you referenced this a little bit. What do you do with someone that has a lot of negative energy, not a very good person? One of the things that I do is I don't immediately start on the reading. I try to connect with their energy a little bit. And I just want to get a sense of what's going on. And sometimes it's just a conversation. And lo and behold, I've had several people who say, you know what, I'm just sitting here because my wife made me. And I'm like, I get it. I get it. I'm not going to force you to listen to me do a reading at all. And then we have a laugh about it, and so we sort of move on. Anybody else have thoughts on that? Okay. Oh, have your guides ever told you not to do a specific reading?
Yes.
Tell us more about that, Deb, if you're willing.
Generally, it will be in a public setting, like in a chat room, like we're doing the show now, and someone will have asked a question. My guides sometimes will not answer the question,
Mm-hmm.
or they will give me information and tell me I can't say it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to be real tactful and let the person know that they may need to see someone privately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I move that. Jane, Betsy, any thoughts on that? Not forcing, just give an opportunity.
Well, I know if they don't, if I'm not supposed to do a reading for somebody, if they don't want me to, then they handle it for me. The emails get crossed, the time doesn't work out. And so I kind of get a clue. I've kind of now gotten a clue as to that's not because of me and the person. It's because of me and the person and everything else. So
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Betsy, your and Jonathan's guides told you both not to answer one of my questions. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I echo what everybody is saying about this.
Yeah.
Jane, that happens a lot with me is somebody will say they want to book and then they'll cancel or something, or it doesn't work out. Or sometimes I've had the guide simply tell me you're not invited. And I just say that to the person. I'm sorry, I'm uninvited. Yeah. And then there's times, when they say they'll tell, like Deb said, they'll give me the information. They'll say, but we don't want you to say that. So yeah.
And I have actually had where people are coming for a specific question, and there ain't no way in heck that that's going to happen. And I'm like, you know what? That question's not working for this. Let's think about the question and layer it. So, it was my Native American great grandmother. So, and Mary Thornberry also said, do you ever get emotionally caught up with the person you were reading where you were left feeling upset or sad? Not anymore, because I'm better at being a channel and then releasing that energy and taking care of myself. There have been times, Mary, where if I've been doing a lot of readings and I've read for somebody, I'm like going, you know what? I need to go outside and I need to hug a tree, ground a little differently, get something to help ground me, and then slow down enough to go, you know what? This is not mine. This isn't mine.
I will sometimes get emotional during a reading, but usually if I deliver the whole message, then that leaves when I finish the reading. And those tears are usually associated with that being good information, that it's so I can be emotional during a reading, but for the most part, if I deliver the whole message, that feeling leaves as soon as the reading is gone.
Yeah. I will get emotional, and I will tear, I will laugh, I'll get a great sense of joy, and it's just like, okay, this is really, really powerful. And I just go with it, because it's part of the importance of the message, and it's the gift that and it's a gift to me to be able to convey something that powerful. And then when like Deb said, once I deliver it, I'm good. I'm done. So, hi, Peter J. Watts. So, and okay, so if in a bad situation, just give them my best wishes. It's not my responsibility to carry on. And Lisa said, last in person I had, I just came out and had to guard myself on the question. They were looking for permission to cheat. Ooh. Good for you for having boundaries. That's, I think, what makes that is the difference between an okay reader and a very skilled reader, knowing your boundaries. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so we've been on an hour and 20 minutes. And so yeah, okay. So yeah, cried in readings too. I think we all have. We all get that emotional sense. Well, no, we all don't. Sometimes we get an emotional burst. And I say emotions, I mean just emotions. Joy, happiness, sadness, confusion. It's emotions. So, bye, Sherry. Okay, and Mary said, yes, that makes sense. I do not read for others, just myself. I did in the 90s and found it exhausting. So I stopped. I've just pulled my deck recently, pull sometimes with all of it. Well, good. Okay. Now we're not going to get to this question, which is how do you prepare for a reading if you're the querent? If you'd like another Tarot the Stash Way on that topic, say so. Leave a comment. We're going to go out with this. If someone were watching, I saw my hand and I thought Jane was raising her hand because what Jane? Yes, Jane. So, what would be your if someone were watching, we're preparing to give a reading, what would you suggest? Do you have any takeaways?
Giving or getting?
If you were giving a reading, if you know, okay, so like if you're preparing for a reading, what I would say is you figure out what works for you and you do it regularly and consistently, because that builds up the power and the energy around it. And each time you do it, it's going to get more and more powerful. And I'm gonna tag on something that Deb mentioned, is figure out your guides and the relationship you have with them. If they're funny, if they're serious, if they want some sort of an offering, if they want a cup of tea while you're doing reading, get them a cup of tea. So figure that out. So any other thoughts?
No, go ahead, Deb.
Whatever you do to connect to spirit or your guides or your gods or whoever it is you connect to on the other side, do that. And if it takes you 2 seconds, do that. If it takes you 2 hours, do that. Whatever your own personal process is to connect spiritually, do that.
What Deb said. Betsy, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I'm going to step out a little farther. Instead of you have someone booked and arriving soon, what would you do? I'm going to step out a little bit farther and say, be very honest with yourself about why you want to do this. And on the whole, not just this one time, but is it just this one time, or do you want to do this in public? Do you want to do this in private? To be very honest with yourself about why you're doing this, what you're getting out of it, and how you want to feel going forward. What's your goal going forward? To be really clear about what you're doing and why, and what's the payoff for you.
Yeah,
I think, and I think self-protection is important. If you want to do this regularly or even infrequently, if you want to be in public, Well, even if you only want to read for family and friends, to be really clear about how to protect yourself.
Yeah. Anything, Jane?
I would just like to add that I think that formulating a question is super in tarot readings, not so much in mediumship or whatever, but I'm just saying that I think that formulating the question is so key, because I have noticed when people ask me for a general reading, you will just get the general, what you already know, what's around you. So I just want all of our fine chat people that may not be readers, that may not know a lot of things, or just starting or whatever, is to really think about what you want to know about, and don't be afraid to ask that particular question.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get a lot more out of it.
Yeah. When I ask myself that, Betsy, I have two answers: to perhaps help others, and it's fun. Robin asked a very important question, which we will have to consider later. How do you empower people who feel their lives are totally at the mercy of readers? That's, yeah.
That might be a good subject for, or a subheading under the what do you do to prepare as a querent when you ask a question.
This one right here. This one.
Yep. I'm writing this down.
Brilliant.
Yes. So, all right. What do people have coming up so that they can, because everybody should be, they should be doing this. They should be liking and subscribing to all of the channels, right, people?
Yes.
Jane, what do you got coming up?
I'm not doing much because I'm traveling and my internet is funky and all that stuff. But I do believe I'm going to be with Sonia Ray Lynn.
Sonia Ray Lee.
I'm going to be on Coffee Chat on Friday, unless of course but that's it. And maybe I might be doing something Thursday with Terry, our two loopy light workers. I haven't asked her yet, though.
I love it.
Just
Betsy,
everybody wants to
come in.
I have my 4th Tuesday live readings with Jonathan coming up on the 23rd.
Okay.
On his channel.
Yes. Deb, do you got anything?
I will be back here in the presence of Gerald on Thursday with Cartomancy Mesquite, Angela, and we will be considering how May the 4th be with you.
Oh, I love that.
And then Tuesday I will be back on my channel with Thayer in the evening for our regular bi-weekly mediumship show.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes, Jane, so true, especially when people are asking for third-party readings. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I am on with Michelle Marie, Astrological Tarot, and Twillo Lifestyle for readings tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm hosting Deb and Angela, Cartomancy Mesquite. I'm on with Richie on Friday, Longman Tarot. We're talking about the Kings. I am on somebody's channel on Saturday, I think Orshis. And just like and subscribe. It's easier, people. You'll get notifications. So,
and if you're like me, go to his homepage and his community page a lot, because when you get notifications, you only get them a half hour ahead of time.
Yeah,
I need to know your schedule like in advance. So
do you need to be like Chris, where I should send you a personalized message if if I'm going to be live, I should send you a text, and if Jeffrey's voice is going to be on, you get a personalized thing. So anyhow,
yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone. You are all amazing. This has been wonderful. Thank you to my guests. You have been amazing. Purple Elephant Deb H, Jane the Seeker, Tarot, Medium Betsy Palmer. You are all amazing. And it has been, and Tarot Stash, y'all have been wonderful. And I thank you so very, very much. And I think people would like, how do you, how do you prepare for a reading if you're the querent? So, but all right, everybody, take care. Bye.
Hui ho.
Hey, we're still live. You know what? We're still live. I should do that again, and I should actually turn off. We're still live. Hi, everybody. We were just so much fun.
We're back.
Back in time.